Wow. Jermell Charlo, Lions Only fame, may face Jeison Rosario in a unification next. We're going to talk about it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, the Cash App, and the Patreon family. We working. Sign up for Patreon. We got some fun stuff coming. I'm having a good time with the group sessions. Patreon, link in the description, or become a YouTube channel member. And you can hit the join button below this video by the subscribe button. Let's talk about it. ESPN reporting. You guys will see it on your screen. A request. Look at this. A request for a unification bout between IBF WBA 154-pound champion Jeison Rosario and WBC champion Jermell Charlo has been accepted by the IBF. Wow. Another source tells ESPN that things are moving well in these negotiations and that this bout will most likely happen in late September. Listen, new media, it's becoming harder and harder for old media to run from the truth. Are you kidding me? Jermell Charlo versus Jeison Rosario in a unifications. Now, if you follow my channel, you know I'm all about the unifications. I think unifications are good for the sport. I want to see it. And more importantly, this is a good fight. Jermell Charlo, we know he's a beast, right? We know the Lions Only, the movement, outspoken, good fighter, great performance. He just knocked out Tony Harrison. I know because I was there, right? He fought in Ontario, California. I think the fight, Jack Reese kind of missed the ball, dropped the ball. I think it should have been stopped a little bit earlier, because when you when you hit somebody with 4 consecutive uppercuts, there should be a rule in the Marcus Queensberry rules that state if you get hit with 4 uppies in a row, and someone just feeding you, then and you're not defending yourself and countering, the fight got to be stopped. So I think it was stopped a hair short, but the right person won, and he did get a stoppage. Shout out to Jermell Charlo. Then we look at Jeison Rosario. Out of nowhere, I had seen him on some like smaller PBC cards, undercards and stuff like that. Out of nowhere, he goes to Philly. Talk about Danny, talk about Philly. Angel Garcia voice. He goes to Philly, the backyard of Julian J. Rock Williams, who looked masterful, versus Swift Jared Hurd the previous year. And this was thought to be a feel-good hometown Philly fight for J. Rock. And J. Rock ends up getting stopped and hurt multiple times. I only gave that knockout. Keep running your mouth. I only gave J. Rock, I think, the first round. I thought he looked good in there. But then you seen Rosario started coming. He was, I think the mistake J. Rock made was he seemed like he was fighting Rosario like he was fighting Hurd. And the difference is styles make fights. Rosario doesn't have much of a defense, neither does Hurd. But there's subtle, and they're both big and big punchers and stuff, but there's little subtle differences and little subtle things that Rosario was doing differently. I think an adjustment was needed. But needless to say, Rosario made a fan out of me because that was a good performance. That like he looked really well in that particular fight. So this is a good fight. This is a great fight. Charlo versus Rosario and a unification. So what could you say negative about that? So it's becoming harder and harder for old media to try to, send shots and slant good boxing. Charlo's, they got their business license, their promotional company. You guys see he's on YouTube. So he got YouTube videos and things like that. They're outspoken. They're making for good, entertaining TV. Now, old media, let them tell it. They hate and say stuff like, De La Hoya said he's coming back. Charlo said he'll welcome him back to the 54 division because he said, I'm the king of that, So old media hates and says, why is Jermell picking on an older person? Yet Dillian White and Dave Allen and different people, they have mentioned fighting Mike Tyson, who's older than De La Hoya, and talked about a comeback. So you see the double standards there. or people say that the Charlos only fight bums. But based on the rumors, which nothing's confirmed, but based on the rumors and sources in the industry, they're saying Jermell could actually, they sent a request. You see it, ESPN. They sent a request that was accepted by the IBF. So Charlo fights Jeison Rosario, who's coming off a great performance this year before the pandemic really, was known about in America. And this is a dangerous puncher. You can't sleep on Rosario after that performance. Let me see. I did a video, and see, the great thing about my channel is this. Julian J. Rock Williams versus Rosario. The great thing about my channel is this. Look, breaking: J. Rock Williams loses title by KO. This was, you guys see it, January 18th. Boxingego. Listen, Google front page, and you hear me. I'm praising, like, so it's not. I don't have to go back and rewrite history. Like, everything that I said about the performance was contained in this video. Round 1 to J Rock. I think he had a very good pace, and he was letting his hands go. Round 2, that's where things began to get chippy, right? See, I'm the king of consistency. So in this video, needless to say, I'm giving props to Rosario. So I'm not just saying, oh, it's a good fight.
Rosario near tears, if not fully.
Look at crowd, fans, family in the crowd, and people you don't want to disappoint. So sometimes people fight for the crowd. I seen Oscar Valdez fought in Arizona one time, and he got dropped by the Filipino dude Top Rank had, and it just wasn't his best work. So it's a dangerous fight. You guys could take a listen to that video. But the point I'm making is, old media, they want to paint this narrative that certain guys, oftentimes African-American fighters advised by an African-American advisor, Al Heyman, they're ducking or they don't want to fight. But look at it. Charlo might fight this monster. That's what, sources are saying. In Rosario, who has hurt a lot of guys that he's fought, if not most of the guys he's fought. You got to do your homework. But most importantly, he's coming off the J Rock performance. This fight it got kind of ugly for J Rock. Look at his eyes kind of rolled in the back of his head. And then Charlo's a beast, and he's coming off the Harrison stoppage. So 2 guys coming off a stoppage in a unification. How could you complain about that? And then you look at the other Charlo, Jermell Charlo. They're saying he swooped and snapped and snatched opponent that Canelo was allegedly looking at, which I have different thoughts on, but that's Derevyanchenko. So Derevyanchenko, we know he beat Triple G and got robbed. And then, Charlo might fight him. So the Charlos, just by doing what's right and fighting the important fights, they're making it hard for you not to support and for you to try to hate on them. These are both good fights, especially in the pandemic. Listen, tell me in the comment section what other fights that you've seen since this pandemic has started in March that you feel competes with these type of fights. I'm just being real. People get mad, but the truth hurts. Don't care. Truth hurts. Rosario in a unification off of the J Rock performance, and Charlo, that's crack. That's crack. That's puro. That's raw. Cocaína, right? And if Jermell Charlo fights against Derevyanchenko, that as well is a great fight. Keep running your mouth. Keep running your mouth. So I'm really enjoying the Charlo's rise. See what's next. I like Rosario. I like Derevyanchenko. So, may the best man win. But let's see if these fights get done. But it's looking crazy for old media. It's looking real crazy because they've been hating for a minute. And at what point can you stop hating? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are meaningful fights in a pandemic. If these fights get done, Rap City the basement. Because these are all good fights. And the Charlo Lions Only brand is out of here. Because these are some of the best fights that I'm even hearing about post-pandemic. So if they could get it done, and, you look at other networks and promotions and fighters, people are complaining about their purses, saying they want more or dropping out because they said they got lowballed or don't have time to prepare, whatever the situation. So if PBC can get these fights done, then maybe it's better they waited. And these are strong fights. So it's gonna definitely help their boxing programming if they can come up with this. And ESPN, I'll put the link in the description. But if they're going through the procedural things of saying, hey, our IBF champion, instead of him fighting a mandatory, we're requesting a unification, and the IBF approved it, definitely a good sign. Definitely a good sign. So I'm excited. Let me know what you guys think. The Charlos, like I said, it's just they said Canelo might fight Quigley, and the Charlos are out here trying to fight the best people in their division or people coming off strong performances, you know, against known names. Derevyanchenko fought Triple G and should have beat him. We know this. Rosario just beat J-Rock, who just had beat Hurd and looked good. There's nothing you could do to hate, you know. Caleb Smith and Canelo. Caleb Smith, he seems solid, but he's not coming off of the best performance. Most people thought he lost to John Ryder. But then you look at, even if he fights John Ryder is coming off a loss. Quigley, you know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. It's getting hard for you, old media. I know. And it's real hilarious because the old media and the haters are losing their shit because they know, you know, you could tell the difference between a good fight and a bad fight. And I distinctly remember this interview with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn was saying that Charlos would regret not signing for DAZN. And a lot of the fans rolled with this narrative, and I'm going to play it for you. And this is what Eddie Hearn previously said, and oh, what a difference a year makes. What a difference a year makes.
That's a poor fight.
Listen.
Like the Charlo brothers, they send another offer.
I mean, I just made them an offer which is 3 times what they're making at the moment, probably. And I just think they're so easily talked.
How do you know when you're overpaying?
Oh, we're already overpaying. They're overpaid on their current purse, let alone my offer. So, but they like, there's some very good people on that side who convince people of doing certain things that actually makes no sense at all. So Charlo's like, yeah, send me a real offer. It's like, well, hang on a minute. You've just got an offer, definitely 2 times, maybe 3 times what you're making. And you're saying it's a poor offer, yet you're boxing for half at the moment against Willie Monroe. And actually what you're going to find at the moment is there's no fights for him in the middleweight division because all the champions are going to be under DAZN. So that's why, no disrespect to Willie Monroe, but he fought Billy Joe Saunders. Billy hardly won a round. That's a poor fight. And where is the middleweight opposition to fight Charlo? How can he win a belt unless he's over here? So if we're offering him 2 or 3 times as much money he's on, plus all the champions are on DAZN, what are you waiting for other than people feeding you with stuff that makes you think differently?
So basically you're saying that they have to beat a star to be a star, and the stars are at DAZN, so they can't really.
I just think that if you want to be a champion, you want to fight the champions who are on DAZN. It's not, I don't mean to be arrogant and say you've got to join with DAZN, otherwise you're going to be frozen out. But obviously, if you're...
Wow. Oh, you know I had a lot to say. New media, smash the like button. But that was Eddie Hearn. That was Eddie Hearn previously. This, I guess, was around the time, December 2018, somewhere around there, when Charlo was about to fight Willie Monroe, who later failed a drug test. So he said the Charlos have to come to DAZN to fight and to be a star. Bro, these are name a DAZN fight right now that you feel holds a candle to Charlo versus Rosario unification based on their last performances and where they're at, or Charlo versus Derevyanchenko. Listen, really, if we're really being real, you know I'm the king of consistency. I told you immediately after the Triple G, had no guys and Max everybody, and no, his punch is my body, right? When Triple G fought Derevyanchenko, I immediately, and that's the great thing with new media, the proof, it's in the pudding. You could check the video that I did post-fight, like I always do. And I told you Triple G lost that fight right immediately after the fight. So it's not like me going back and changing stuff or rewriting history. I told you Derevyanchenko beat him. So realistically, Charlo versus Rosario, both off great performances. Harrison 2 stoppage, J-Rock stoppage. That is a unification. And Charlo, because Canelo avoided him, he became the WBC champion, and he has already since defended, and he's coming off for stoppages, and he's a beast. So Jermell Charlo is the WBC champion, and we know technically Derevyanchenko isn't a champion, but we know he should be. So really, what PBC is doing really should be 2 unifications with these fights if they're made. It should be 2 unifications, because like I know that Derenchenko really won that fight against Golovkin, and that was for the vacant IBF belt. So that should be a WBC and another IBF belt, just like his brother. But politics came in. Maybe they were trying to make Canelo versus Triple G Part 3, and somehow Triple G got a unanimous decision, just like he did with Jacobs. 2 close fights, and somehow Triple G keeps coming out unscathed, even though the public opinion is way different than the judges' scorecards. And he's getting UDs and unanimous decisions when everyone else thought Triple G could have lost, or different opinions. Not a split decision, majority decision, not a draw. He's just getting UDs. So we know what time it is. But that Eddie Hearn interview, that didn't age well. He says that you have to come to the zone. We're offering you 2 to 3 times more. Charlos ain't complaining about their money. Have you seen these guys' houses? Especially Jermell's house. His house looked crazy. They're not complaining about it. They're not complaining in general. They just like, get my money right and we can fight, and they're trying to take on. So I think we know who's a star in boxing and who's not. So all that stuff that Eddie Hearn said was cap. He said that they have to get popping, they got to come fight on the app. That's not true, because I certainly want to see both Charlo's next fight if it's the fight that we're hearing about. Sign up for ESPN Plus below using my link. It does help the channel when you guys click on that. ESPN Plus, home of a lot of original content. They got docuseries, documentaries, exclusives behind the scenes, archive of boxing fights, and also UFC. If you're interested in signing up for that content, ESPN Plus, it does help your boy Ego and the channel. And it's just a lot of content for you. Get ESPN Plus as a standalone app, or you can bundle it. ESPN Plus, Hulu, and Disney Plus if you want to get all 3 of those for one price, $12.99 a month. But Charlos, I like what you're doing. If these fights get done, then I like what you're doing. So we'll wait and see. But I like the direction this is headed. New media. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.